Hi.
Hi.
I am so excited you're here, and I'm especially excited that you brought pictures to the tribe table.
Indeed.
That is amazing.
If in doubt, bring a prop.
Exactly.
You can always just put the photo up and smile.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So, this is basically the first full day of the festival.
Yes.
Are you exhausted?
Yeah, I am. It's a beautiful town though, and it's just kind of brimming with activity. So I'm, excited to get out there and
So you have a movie in the festival, and why did you bring this movie specifically to the festival?
Well, this movie is about diversity, very much, first and foremost. It's called Roller Dreams, and it's about the roller skate dancing movement in Venice Beach from 1978 till now. And what people will see in this footage is it's an amazing nostalgia piece. But in 1980s, it was a hive of activity at Venice, and this circle was a melting pot of diversity. And so the roller skaters, their moves, like people came from all over the world to watch them. And then the movement essentially died. As you know, those crazy movies, Xanadu, Roller Boogie, all of that, that was because of them. And then their scene died, and where it's at today with gentrification in Venice Beach, and it's become this techie kind of area, and a lot of the soul and that melting pot vibe has been lost a bit. So I think this festival is perfect for it in that way, that it's celebrating, diverse voices and being a female filmmaker and working with other females.
All the boxes, check, check, check.
Yep, exactly. Happy to be here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good. So how far on the circuit are you at this point?
Yeah, so it has been to things like LA Film Festival, Los Angeles. It won the Audience Award in Sydney, which was exciting, going back to Australia and bringing a film back there. And Calgary, it won Jury Award, and then it's in Canada as well. So it's definitely kind of out there doing its,
So what I find interesting about that is that, you've shown it all over the world, but it's really about Venice Beach. But it's obviously not a story about a location. It's a story about the diversity and really thinking like that we've arrived and then finding out that we haven't, or even stepping backward in some form or fashion. I know, women in the workplace are feeling that sometimes, where they're like, wait, did we haven't, we're not here yet?
Yeah, I know.
So it's a huge connecting story that anybody anywhere can relate to.
Definitely. And our lead female and our only female in the film, Sally Piano, says something to that tune, as she's just like, I thought we'd already gotten there in the 80s. It felt like it was this perfect thing, and then they went backward, and from Watts to Rodney King to Ferguson and everything that's happened in the news that isn't going forward. And, as you know, with Weinstein and all these things coming out, it's just like we've got to air everything and get the record straight and get everyone on equal footing that they should be.
Exactly. Well, and how much of it do you feel, and I don't want you to give away the movie necessarily, or maybe it's something that you learned along the way, is kind of that back and forth that happens, is that we get to a certain point, but then people in power or feel like they're going to lose power, or like, oh, no. And so how much of that either came out in the film, or just do you have a personal opinion about?
Definitely. It was what they wanted Venice to become. And so even though, diversity and dance and, the tourism, that it was helped by our skaters, they wanted Venice to become something more about money and real estate. And so ultimately, our area got taken away, the roller skaters area got taken away, and they got put in a hole effectively. And as a result, the crowds have dispersed, and they're not this like energy force anymore. And so I think that's a shame, and that can happen when, they attracted everyone in the first place, put it on the map, and then they go, well, now we want it to be this because it's on the map.
Right.
And we want the money to come, so let's F off the people that made it happen.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It has a feeling injustice, and that's why their story needed to be told. And
it's good. So story is obviously not over.
No.
Still in progress. So how is it to be literally filming something both retrospectively and then while it's happening, and also without having an end yet.
Yeah, it is hard because you want to get it out there and you know it's a tale that needs to be seen now, so you have to close the book, but there is always stuff happening. And so how it's helped is that it's brought more people to the area to roller skate, and so it's feeding back into their movement, which is a good thing. And it's also given our guys, the characters, a second life. They've loved going on the road and talking about it, and really kind of, so it's still going now.
Good.
And then our lead character as well, who was facing a lot of like health difficulties, he's kind of, it's given him a new kind of zest for life and helped him back to, you know, the ones that loved him and things like that. So it's definitely impacted people's lives, which is a good thing for a documentary. That's the aim of it, really.
Absolutely.
Is to,
Good. So where does the film go next in the circuit, and just kind of what are some of your hopes for it?
Yeah, so it has been picked up by Gunpowder and Sky, who are giving it its, you know, proper release, and so it'll be at San Francisco Doc Week, which will be a real highlight. It's also in Barcelona now. It's a number of places, but it will now get a proper release on like online, and that the aim would really be for it dream as Netflix and for it to be seen as many people by as many people as possible.
Good. So we should keep an eye out.
Definitely.
Because it might be out there.
Roller dreams. Yes.
Good. Wonderful. I'm so glad you came in today. This is awesome. Are there any of the pictures in particular that you want to share?
The crazy kind of foundation of this movement is that Mad, the original guy, sought his inspiration from cartoons, from Transformers to be specific.
Wow.
So he gave all of the moves names like Dinobot, Sesame, Long Freddy, like all this crazy stuff. And he's so animated, and he has this really deep voice. I can't do it, but he just commands like the crowd, and he gets them to do all these moves and a line dance effectively on roller skates. And that's what made everyone keep coming back every weekend. So this is one guy, Kyle, doing like a spin on the roller skates. So you get down low and you just spin and your head stays still. So it's like a record kind of turning. This is like a headstand, you know, with the skates. It's
like breakdancing.
Definitely.
It
definitely is.
Well, it's dancing.
But then it's also about freedom and grace and kind of ballerinas on skates. Yeah. These guys, the most unlikely people to see on roller skates.
And innovation.
Yes.
Because they're doing new things that nobody's done. Yeah.
And this is like a high kick, an alpha high kick. So again, it's just they're in their prime, and they became kind of the rock stars of Venice as well. Like with all of the girls are a big part of the movement. And they had these tummy top things, the midriffs, and the MC Hammer style pants. And so it was all about baggy, and when you'd spin, you'd just see these like parachute pants, like in a formation. And that's Mad. And then as you see the beauty in the look there, he's just in absolute heaven and bliss. And that's what it was for them, was an oasis away from South Central and their kind of, you know, inner city areas. They got their 15 minutes of fame in Venice Beach. And and that's him in the middle, like the lion, and everyone surrounding him. So a lot of fashion in the film, and music obviously is, you get grooving.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Well,
sometimes I need to unplug. Sometimes I've got to reboot. Sometimes I just want to sleep. But I always want to connect with you. Get into Brew Moods, aromatherapy lotions powered by a mindfulness app.